Welcome to the tutorial on how to set up and use the plotter. The plotter can be accessed from this button, opening up the plotter frame. This plotter is an STO signal plotter, so any parameters added to it will generate an STO request from ServiceTool, and the value response will be plotted as a graph. But let us add a few parameters. Here we also use the parameter browser and drag and drop into the plotter. I will only add a few standard parameters here. Status all. Voltage. And analog voltage. These parameters will be saved in a vehicle file, so no matter who uses this file, configurator or service user will have the parameters in the plotter ready to be viewed. So this is kind of a graphical version of the parameter read list. Because the plotter is using STO signals, its resolution is not that great, otherwise it would use too much bandwidth in the CAN bus. Each parameter in the plotter adds 20 millisecond delay, so plotting a single parameter updates every 20 milliseconds and gives you a 50 Hz frequency. And with 5 parameters, every parameter will be updated every 100 milliseconds or at 10 Hz frequency. And that is actually all on how to set up the plotter. So let us continue on how to use the plotter. If we press run here, the plotter starts. At start, the plotter will adjust the y-axis somewhat to fit the values coming in. We have a value that is currently static, but these two are changing. As you can see on the left, the y-axis is colored in the same color as the selected parameter. The parameter name is also displayed here. The axes show the value only for the selected parameter. Changing selection is done either here in the list or by clicking in the proximity of any line. If you want to change the scale of the y-axis, simply hover the mouse over the y-axis on the left side and use the scroll wheel. Or right-click and drag up or down. If you want to move the position of the selected line, simply left-click and drag up or down. The same applies to the x-axis, but here it will affect all lines. You can control both the x and y-axis if clicking inside the plotter. If two parameters have values near each other and are associated, it might be a good idea sometimes to have them on the same y-axis, like these two. Just drag one of them on top of the other and they will be grouped. I'll just call it power. Now they share the same axis, and any change in scale or position will affect both. The color of the axis will be represented by the first parameter. But now I have talked so long that we lost the present values. To move the timeline to the latest value, just press Reset X and the timeline will move. If we want to continue and always see the latest values, press the Follow. Sometimes you might have lost yourself in zooming. To get back to normal values, press the Reset Y. This only affects the selected parameter or group. To reset all parameters, go to the menu Plotter and press Reset All Y-axis. Here you can also see all shortcuts. If you want to clear all records and start timeline from zero, just press Clear. We also have a button named Background here. It is active by default. This means that any parameter in the background, like the parameter list, is paused. This is because we want to focus all bandwidth on the plotter for a higher update frequency. If we remove the pause, we can see that we are getting updates in the background, but also that our resolution in the plotter is somewhat reduced. To get some real use of the plotter, we can use the cursors to get the exact values and timestamp. We activate a single cursor here, and this line appears. To actually get the first values, we have to move it. Just click anywhere on the plotter screen to move the cursor to that position. If you click on or near the cursor and hold, you can drag the cursor. The little box on the selected line marks the actual measured value and its timestamp. As you can see, the line has the same color as the selected parameter, and this is important, because the values for each line arrive at different times. The timestamp seen here in the bottom left is for the selected parameter only. Because the messages arrive at different times for each line, the value seen in the list is only accurate for the selected one. All other values shown are the last registered value for that line prior to the cursor position. Also, this timestamp in itself is not completely accurate. This timestamp is not when this value was measured in the unit, but when the message was plotted. So there is a short delay, and there is no way to say exactly how much. With our 4 parameters in the list, we have up to 100 millisecond delay between each update. So when I select this peak on the voltage line, it would seem that we should get from the analog in the value 38 something. But the last registered value on this parameter prior to the cursor is here, and this is the value shown in the list. So in conclusion, this plotter is not suitable for fast changing or time critical parameters. Using the double cursor is pretty much the same. Left click moves the first cursor and right click moves the second one. But here we get even more data. We have values for all parameters at both the first and second cursor. And also we get the delta value for each parameter, meaning we get the change of value between these points. Here we see an increase of 15.75, comparing point 1 and point 2. At the bottom left, we see more data, and this is only for the selected parameter. The timestamps for cursor 1 and 2, the delta time, or time interval between these points. Here is the minimum and maximum value measured in this interval. The timestamp given here is the first detected if multiple is found. And finally, the average value over this period. If you have something interesting you want to be saved and viewed by others, we have the screenshot button. This saves the entire plot frame as a picture. More useful is to save the plotter as a log here. This will store all parameters and all recorded data in a file. This file can be sent to another user, and when opened it almost looks the same. We can open the one we just created. Just a different title so you can see that it is a log, but also a bit lighter background. But now we have this interactive log. We can move around the lines, scroll through time, activate cursors and do our measurements just as in the live plotter. So that is all on how to use the plotter. Thank you for watching. Please contact us if you have any questions, want to purchase our products, or have any feature requests.